I welcome into another edition of the Pittsburgh Steelers Blitz. I'm auth-dhockensmith-auth. We're going into week 5 of the 2018 season, trying to process for the Steelers a 26-14 loss to the Baltimore Ravens at home on Sunday Night Football. A disappointing effort in a lot of ways, especially that second half for the Steelers where they're shut out. Doesn't get any easier. They're 1-2-1 so far through 4 weeks. The Atlanta Falcons, who are themselves a 1-3 football team, though could make the case they're much better than that. A clash of two teams that a must-win game, I think some would say, if either of these teams or both want to make it to the playoffs in 2018. All right, looking back a little bit, one of the reasons this Steelers team is looking for some answers, they've had some tumultuous times off the field, on the field, looking for some answers defensively. The offense didn't fire on all cylinders late against the Baltimore Ravens, but you can circle back to the offseason here and Le'Veon Bell's decision not to show up for week 1 of the 2018 season. He said this week he's prepared to return in week 7, which is the Steelers' bye week. I think the Steelers are still entertaining some trade possibilities there. I'm not sure we'll see Le'Veon Bell in a Steelers uniform or not. One thing you can say, though, is the Steelers are looking for a little bit more consistency on the ground game. Twice in the last 3 weeks, James Conner has been held below 20 yards. They need some kind of spark one way or another to get this offense on track. I think part of the issue with the running is early deficits in some of these games, including 14-0, a hole they dug themselves into against the Ravens. They fought back to tie the game at 14-14. Didn't really show up offensively in the second half. They end up losing 26-14. It's going to have to change. I think the Steelers are going to have to make improvements on both sides of the ball. They will be put to the test by the Falcons offense, though, in week 5. So as I mentioned, Pittsburgh gets an explosive Atlanta Falcons team here coming up this Sunday. They're 1-3, back-to-back tough losses for them, though. They lose in overtime 2 weeks ago to the Saints. They lose in the final seconds to the AFC North rival Cincinnati Bengals last week. So they're 1-3. They've dealt with some injury issues on the defensive side of the ball, all up and down the middle of the defense. Keanu Neal goes down. Ricardo Allen, a safety, goes down. Deion Jones, a talented linebacker, goes down. All 3 of those guys will be out for this matchup. There'll be some cushion there, I think, in the middle of the field for the Steelers offense. Offensively for the Falcons, still number 6 in the NFL in scoring. They're a team with Matt Ryan under center with Julio Jones. And the emergence of rookie wide receiver Calvin Ridley has brought some new dynamics to this offense. 6 touchdowns for Ridley in the last 3 weeks alone. He's a scoring threat, and he does it in a variety of ways. So he's a guy that the Steelers will have to circle there in matchup coverage to try to limit the big plays, something they haven't done a great job doing through 4 weeks. As I mentioned, as we look at a couple matchups in this one, limiting the big plays, the Steelers have given up the 6th most 20-yard plays in the NFL. It plays into what the Falcons do so well offensively. You'll have to account for big number 11, Julio Jones, the NFL receiving leader. He's a matchup problem no matter what, but Calvin really brings a little speed, precision dynamic they'll have to account for. Good running game there, too, even with Devontae Freeman out. For the Steelers, you got to get that run game going. It's an area where the Falcons can be had up front. I think you establish that. That's Pittsburgh Steelers football. James Conner, I think, has proven that he can do it. One of the things they got to avoid, though, is that big deficit to try to keep that balance offensively. I think you fix an uneven passing performance. You've seen at times Juju Smith-Schuster has stepped into a big-time role. Antonio Brown not off to the hottest of starts just yet. If you can have one of those vintage Antonio Brown 200-yard type days, there's a good shot you're winning this game against the Falcons. All right, PennLive beat reporter Jacob Klinger joins us now to break down this matchup a little bit and give his prediction. Steelers 3-point favorites and over-under set at 57.5 points. Vegas insiders are liking a shootout. Should be an exciting game.
Not for the first time this season, the Steelers are seeking a win outside of their conference. They're seeking their first win at home, and they're facing one of the better offenses in the NFL. Now, it's a given that facing the Steelers helps make one of the better offenses in the NFL at this point in the season. They certainly haven't contained any pass offense of note throughout the first 4 weeks of the 2018 campaign. However, if for no other reason than the Steelers tend to defy conventional narratives, I expect them to beat the Atlanta Falcons on Sunday at Heinz Field, 37-35.
All right, thanks, Jacob. I'm going against the Steelers here. This Falcons team just as hungry to get their season on track. I like the Falcons to put up some points. I'm not sure the Steelers have fixed all their woes defensively. 31-27, I've got it in favor of Atlanta. We'll see what happens. Be sure to jump in the comments section here. Follow along with us by subscribing to PennLive on YouTube and follow along with PennLive.com all season long. We'll see you next time for the Pittsburgh Steelers Blitz.